what time it is, nigga. Is you 200 or not? Hey, is you 200 or not? My projects ain't sweet ever. They smite piss. You come through with that shit, we leave your face in that piss. Selling killers in my projects, they keep it on the hip. They ask where the junk at, knowing what they heard of it. Touchdown on the block, most deaf, she keep it lit. Uncle Hook in the cheese, peeping game and stupid shit. Close, if you see them, they might start arresting shit. RP Uncle Lash, you know your spirit still with us. It's a little more. Wild nigga off the hook. I said that he on me, but he said it on the book. Said nigga months later, he ain't even wanna look. A young nigga that I had your
Hey, cool gamer.
I don't shoot dice, but I bet it all on who. Those to the boys with me, made them come up what they shoot. If it's Tony got your ass touched like a fool, Hans Wilder couldn't even watch.
Hey, say, we come through with the shit and leave your face in that pit. Hey, my project stick like a motherfucker.
That game, God send them consequences. My GMP niggas will do you in like your whip did. Hey, my GMP niggas will do you in like your whip did. Load up that compact and keep it on your waistline. It's funky in the chest, we get it poppin' when the night come. That backlight gun range, fucking with my eardrums. My head the lilies get lemon heads and honey buns. Packed out the phone, they got blended like Dom did. Clutching in the drip with
Hey, Lena.
Would have made a left turn, we was gonna park it. Eat the whole whip, but nobody there to stop it. Hey, work on, you ain't got respect on your lifestyle. Dancing through a couple on your nugget. Face any problems until it's a problem. Bruise to the face, we'll send you to the Timberland. I swear to shoot and release about 96. I don't play no games if it's on, you can't touch the switch. Level holes in his lip and feathers popping out of me. Work, nigga. You niggas done fucked up. Look, Jungle Baby Burger, let me introduce myself. Anybody?
Hey, I see you in the chat twerking, Lena. Hey, Reed, you told me to go live. So I'm live. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm live.
Church watching, they trying to build a case on my niggas for total rockets. Got everybody watching it, I go the gang go, and I put that on my mama, get your money, young nigga. All on the ones who doubt it, ain't nothing like the jungle, I see why they don't like us. My last song, they know what I came to do. Work reputation, A1 for some living proof. So I got a young spooky nigga that's itching to shoot, but if they go down, they gon' play this in the courtroom. He ain't on none, you know Bert's still on one. Once the phone hit, you'll catch me on that front line, Shots out that 4-5, barely on the block, we only come out when it's daylight. Don't act like Marin ain't attached to the bridge. Slide through my section, really see how safe you is. Cause then Jay said it, I let trips in, shots out, they won't come back by the way that they gun blasted.
My project stick like a motherfucker. Hey. Hello, I'll be with y'all in a second. Hello, everyone. What is going on this Monday Madness? What's up, Miss Royal? What's up, Miss Cruiser? Hey, y'all. How is everybody Monday going thus far? Have y'all been reading y'all book? I just came with a good idea that we should just pick up a book and read a book. Hey, Burnley. And, pick any book you would like, any book of your choice, and just join me in the book challenge. Just read a book for a month. I also spoke with Newbie, and we're thinking about doing a book club. And we have some books in mind that we might all be able to get and participate in. It's about to be winter. The fall is approaching. Winter is approaching. We're going to be at home more or less. It depends. And why not start off the end of the year by reading a book? Exercise your brain. Dive deep inside the pages and let the words dance off the book and let your imaginary just go everywhere. You know when you used to be a kid and used to curl up and read a good book? Well, let's just take it back to that. Just read, And also I thought it would be a good idea to start reading. And I also thought about we spend so much time on social media, on our devices, our tablets, our computers. that is nothing like a feeling of the pages of a book. Just turning the book, smelling the book, the fresh print of the book. And also with that, if you would like to, y'all, if y'all, doing a challenge, to document how many hours you spent reading that book. And at the end of the month, we will total it up. We spend so much time on social media. I know I do. And it's not just watching YouTube. I'll be everywhere. And I found myself like, some of the stuff that I'm watching is not so healthy mentally. Um, and it could be draining. It can be also draining. So why not just find some good literature and just read and read and read. Anywho, I've been seeing a lot of messy stuff going on here, and I really don't care to like the J Dunn and the intrinsic thing. We know what social media gives. We know how we know we're grown that some things you just should not share with people. Hi, the Tea Lounge. Some things you should not share with people, especially photos of you in an uncombined, and can't be passing photos around. At the end of the day, we don't know. Hey, Barry Carey, we don't know who your photo, who hands they're gonna be, lying. Once you send it, it can't be unsent. So as adults, we should know that if you don't trust the person, you don't know the person, don't show your dirty deeds to the person. It's, you have to be accountable for your actions. Just be careful who you communicate with on here and how much information you devolve on here. Even if they try to make up some shit, your life, your story. Can't nobody tell your story better than you. They can lie on your name. They can scandalize your name. But they don't know you. They just don't know what they see on the screen. They don't know you. Just come through to give you a like. You got a man? Girl, I'm trying to get a man too, girl. Well, I'm trying to have a man find me because they said a woman should not go out seeking a man. So I'm going to be like Ruth and Naomi and them in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And hopefully my knight in Shiner, my Boaz, will show his butt up somewhere. Not no broke ass, not no broke on ass, but my Boaz will pop up one day. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that right there was just like, oh my God, another exposure of a photo, and we're acting like we're little kids. I mean, it's just safe to say that you can't just be passing your photos around. You can't. No. You have to be in control of your own destiny. You can't just be willy-nilly thinking everybody is going to be safe with your information that you give them, even if you're trying to forge a relationship. You should be very careful about who you exchange your photos with. Period. I mean, come on now. And then the body shaming. Now we know as women, I know for me, because I have three kids, and they're grown. And my little fupa and my little stomach is all, but it look good. It look okay. It's okay because I have three kids. These are called war marks. Okay? I done battled birthing kids, and these are my war wounds of having my beautiful three babies. Some women bounce back and some don't. Hey, but to shame somebody and half of y'all sitting there looking like beach whales and pocket pizzas and elephants in the mist. Ain't nobody all fit and trim and prim. Some is and some not. Especially on YouTube, very Carey. Now we know what the beast down here in this sector. We know what it gives. Hey, YouTube cameras. We know what it gives down here on this YouTube. Even it's like it's just a part, the black sector, the beef sector, all the sectors that's mostly African Americans, and we co-mingling and existing, and we know how it get. Shit ain't sweet. You got to treat these YouTube streets like you treat the streets in real life. If you're about that life, you know how the streets live. You know how to give on here. Trust me. You can't be sleeping. Elephants in the mist, yes, girl. Elephants in the mist, girl. Yes. I'm more like I call myself I ain't that fat, but I got a little belly. So I'm going to call myself a kangaroo in the mist. But But we know what it gives. We know if you have not been raised in the hood, you know what the hood gives. So you got to treat this YouTube shit like you in the streets. You in the trenches. You are on the block. You can't be slipping on the block. You get your wig snatched back on the block. Okay? You got to be careful down here. You got to treat everything like you treat your street life. Okay. Street life. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, you got to be careful. Everybody ain't your friend. And especially if you know how someone's track record is, you cannot think it wouldn't happen to me. Ain't nobody exempt. Okay? Yes, you got to treat the YouTube streets like the block YouTube cameras. Yes, I am a hood chick, project chick. I came from the hood. I came from the trenches. I have no problem saying it. I thank God for the hood because the hood taught me and saved my life. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I know when to turn it off and turn it on. Okay. Yeah. So Reed over there swinging and banging. She been swinging and banging. I hope she just ignore them. And I know it's kind of hard when people are coming at you, attacking you, and lying on your name. I know it's so hard not to swing back, but sometimes you got to sit back and let God fight that battle, or let them tear each other up. You know how And I know it's so hard, especially when there's kids involved. It's like, how old? I believe, and I'm going to say this, I truly believe, half the smoke these people be portraying on this apparatus, this device, this typing in the chats, I bet you if we run up on one of those suckers in real life, they will be pissing on themselves, just peeing and shouting on themselves. Because if you're a real gangster or you're a real G, you wouldn't be on here acting the way you was acting, because G's move in silence. Gangsters move in silence. Thugs move in silence. Okay? Don't the streets tell you that? And also the street says the code is leave the children and women alone. So I guess some of these people have lost their ethical ethics on street politics. Okay. I don't know what generation these somebody. I don't know if they millennials, because I know back in my day, the kids was left alone and the women were left alone. That's what I grew up in. That's the time and era I grew up in. We don't speak on people, kids. The kids ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't get it. Like, what do the kids got to do with it? Leave the babies alone. These kids are out here maneuvering, navigating this crazy, chaotic world. And yes, they will you never know. They might come across these videos. Yes, Steve, that's what I was taught back in the day. Back in the day, I was taught to leave the women and children and the kids alone, and the blind, and the elderly, and the disabled. Okay? Leave the vulnerable people alone. Okay? That's what I was told. Now, we got some strong sisters out here. We got some sisters that will run up and and buck on your ass. Ain't nobody no punks. Okay? But sometimes enough is enough. Like, and the things that are being said is just so vile, sick, twisted, and disgusted that I would side-eye anybody. Hey, Snuffy, I side-eye anybody that condones that type of behavior, that type of talk. I would side-eye you, because you know, I can't wrap my mind about how somebody can just talk like that about anybody's kid. Care who it is. Any kid. And then, we're on the beef sector. But that should be the first thing of your defense into combat. And I know we don't fight fair, but in the streets, you talk about somebody kid in that such manner, it'll be rockabye, baby. Hey, just cooling with the crew. It will be rockabye, lullaby, baby. Okay? Just leave the kids alone. Leave the kids out y'all beef. Leave the kids alone. Just go back and forth with the parent, the mama. Or just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I could never imagine talking down on anyone. I couldn't either, D Dot. I don't how I can't fathom. And it's just the viciousness, the maliciousness of it. It's just disgusting to even let those words flow out your mouth. I. And then you have to admit, some people are not, some people just don't have emotional intelligence. Some people are just childish as fuck. Some people have no home training. I never, even when I was fighting on the streets with people or with other girls, my first attack was on a kid. What the fuck your kid ain't got to do with it? It's between mano y mano, me and you. Okay? So this is crazy. I'm just like, that's why I am reading my book. The more time I spend reading my book, the more time I will not be engaging in some of this sick behavior that is being displayed down in the beach sector. Period. I just. So the queen has been laid to rest. So I'm waiting for the rest of the dirty deets to come out about the Queen of England. Yeah. That was a big thing that was going. I wasn't even tuned. I didn't watch the progression. I didn't watch the service. I really care less because, hey, I try to be as most as respectable as I can, D Dot. I sure do. Yes, I do. Uh huh. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Hold on, give me a sec. I try my best. I try not to get into all the politicking and the the bullshit that goes on. But yeah, I be in the chat dragon because that's what But I know how far to go and how and what to say and not to say. I don't get dirty like that. I don't play reindeer games like that. I know my position. And at the age I am right now, I'm too grown to be acting like that. Too grown and sexy. Too grown and sexy. Let me see. I had to step out. Ooh, we had a heat wave, and thank God it has cooled down because me and heat are not friends. Girl, I'm on my Eric Jerome Dickey. I'm on page 19 at this point. I decided to go back to. Thank you, Carrie. Everybody go back to reading. Reading is so fundamental. Care how old we get. We do have to exercise our brains. Make sure when you're reading, you have a nice lit place. And if you need readers, put your readers on. So I don't want y'all straining your eyes trying to read some of those words on them books, on them pages. But I'm finding it more and more. Hey, Samira Jackson, Godbodo. I think I pronounced that right. I just think the more time I'm spending reading, I feel myself decompressing. I feel myself in a peaceful state. I feel myself like really, really, it has awakened other things inside of me with goals and stuff I'm trying to reach at we all have a dream. And with this reading, I really feel like it brought me a thing of peace and solace that um, I can't describe it. I'm getting so much out of the reading that I do off of skimming on social media platforms. And if y'all want to know, and it's funny because I said this last time, if I don't know the word that I'm trying to read on the paper, I will Google it. If I cannot pronounce the word, I will get the word before I can pronounce it because I just don't want to read something and not get the whole understanding of what I'm reading. Yes, reading is very fundamental. I don't care how old you get. I don't care. And I find I feel more at night. I'm not more anxious. I'm at a place of this. I can't. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It even got me going back to my Bible and reading my Bible now, picking up my devotionals and reading that more. I'm doing my journaling. It has made me move forward in doing that. So I think it had put a spark in something that I needed to push myself to do. And now I'm doing it. I'm like, so now my next thing is to get out the house, get me a blanket, and go by the water or by a park and just lay in the grass and read. Since the kids are in school, ain't gonna be that many people at kids at the park. So I'm gonna find me a nice clock. I know exactly where I'm going. It's some tree. It's this big, big tree by my house. Oh, I wish I had a hammock. Oh, that's my next thing. I'm gonna get me a hammock. I'm gonna get me a hammock. I'm gonna order me a hammock this weekend. Yes, I am. And then it makes my grandkids more interested in reading. So if they see grandma reading a book, it makes them want to pick up the book. So I got my family on board. Everybody got their books. Everybody got the TV off, and it's a stillness and a quietness in the house that it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. What else is going on? Love and support. Sweet, lovely. You're on an awesome. Thank you for. Oh, thank you, Dida. I try to be the best on here, but I be wanting to cut up some days, and I'll be like, nah. I just don't feel myself to give anybody that much energy. I just don't. I just don't. I have it in me, and I don't want to wake up the beast because it's not even worth it. Because I see so many people battling, and it's like, oh, that has to be so draining. Just going after, just coming live and just trying to just argue with some of these dingbacks on here. It's like it's not even worth it. Like, would you really be spending time and your energy on these motherfuckers if they were really in your face or in your same neighborhood? I don't think so. Or either you be whooping their asses every goddamn day. It's only two ways you can go. Either you won't fuck with them, or you just y'all be just some fight motherfuckers every day. And that's how I am. I can't just sit up and argue with you. I'm gonna have to lay hands on a motherfucker. I don't. I'm not wired up like that. I'm gonna reach out and touch a bitch or a motherfucker or a nigga. I don't care. Whoever want it can get it. Okay, I'm trying to read the chat. I got my glasses off. Give me 1 second. So I'm trying to wrap my hair up because it done popped off. Yeah, I've been so. I'm gonna tell you how this pandemic had me. Not. I just been wearing hair wraps, and I'm loving every little bit of it. Okay, I'm almost done. Because I can't see the chat because I wear readers and all I see is a bunch of yellow happy faces and some black writing, but I don't know what the fuck it's saying. Hold on. Yeah, cutting up is good sometimes, but I just don't see myself up here battling and dragging and roasting somebody day after day. It has to be so tiring because at the end of the day, it does affect you. I know we say it's virtually, but it does. Because sometimes I leave other people's lives and I want to fuck somebody up. And I shouldn't feel like that. I want to really, like, if that motherfucker lived in my town, in my city, I would roll up on their asses and beat the fuck out of them, or they going to beat my asses, either or. Either I'm going to get my ass kicked or they going to get their ass kicked. But it's not worth it. I mean, to look at it, it's like my freedom is so more important than a bunch of fighting some damn hooligans on the YouTube. So that's why I decided with the book thing. Like, once y'all just grab a book, if you can't write, if you can't get a, if you got to start with Cat in the Hat, then let it be. But go read a book. What else is going on? I see that the Kimmy, they draining too. That whole situation is so draining. It's like, is it for shits and giggles? Is it for clicks and views? Like, aren't y'all tired? It's like as soon as you feel like it fizzled down, here come another thing coming. I'm like, oh, I'm so bored with it. It's like, oh, okay. Uh, yeah, I guess. Hey, Regina. I guess what float their boat don't float mine. I guess. Um, Let me see. Wait, did y'all hear about what they trying to do in Chicago? Ooh, wait. Let me see if I can find it. They talk about starting January in Chicago. It's gonna be a purge like thing. Like certain crimes will not be considered crimes anymore, and that y'all need to be safe if you live in Chicago. I'm trying to find it because they had a whole list of things that wasn't considered a crime to be arrested on. It's like if they start that, that means that's going to trickle over to other states, and I hope it don't, because they're already cutting up. They're already cutting up. They're tearing up the stores. They doing snatch and grabs okay, here we go. Illinois becomes the first state to pass a purge law that allows criminals to be released without bail. Illinois becomes the first state to pass a purge. And Deanna was talking about this on her channel, purge law that allow criminals to be re-released. Illinois is making history by being the first state to test out the purge in real life. On January 1st, 2023, the Safety Act in Illinois will be activated. The Safety Act stands for Safety, Accountability, Fair, and Equity today, and will allow its residents to commit crimes freely. Did y'all hear that? To commit crimes freely without any accountability. That's not funny. Governor says the law marks the substantial steps towards dismantling the systematic racism that plagues our communities, our states, our nation, and bring us closer to true safety, true fairness, and true justice. Which that don't make sense, but anywho, the counter signal. Yes, Regina. Yes, in Illinois, Chicago. I wish I can. Let me see. I'm gonna let y'all listen.
23, the following.
Okay, y'all ready? Listen to this.
As of January 1st, 2023, the following things will go into effect, and people need to be aware of this. It abolishes cash bail for almost every offense. This includes, but isn't limited to, kidnapping, armed robbery, second-degree murder, drug-induced homicide, aggravated DUI, threatening a public official, and aggravated fleeing and eluding. Offenders released on electronic monitoring have to be in violation for 48 hours before law enforcement can act. They could almost drive to Alaska. As of January 1st, 20, before we can even look for them. It denies victims their constitutional rights. And keep this in mind, businesses and homeowners. Officers will no longer be able to remove trespassers from your residence or your businesses. Someone could decide to live in your shed, and all we can do is give them a ticket.
Wow.
You have to decide what level of force is required to remove them and whether or not it's legal. This is a massive threat to the residents of Oral Park, Cook County.
Wow. How do y'all... Girl... Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yes. Isn't that crazy? Let me see if I can pull up the thing. Hold on. That is crazy. So it's up to you as a business owner or a homeowner or even a citizen if you feel that your life is in great harm or danger, and what would you do? They're giving them a pass. I don't know if this because I don't. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Let me give you. I'm about to pull. Here we go. This is what I was looking at. I think we've seen that, but I'm about to pull up another one. Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Our everyday real life, and it starts in 2023. January 1st, 2023, we are going to see the purge kick off in Chicago as they eliminate cash bail and allow nearly every single crime to become fully legal. Even if you committed the most heinous crime that you could possibly imagine, they couldn't hold you for longer than 90 days in Chicago. The big question is, what is this going to do to the residents in Chicago? What is it going to do to property values, the economy, the job market? Is this going to go to places like Philadelphia, places like Boston, places like LA, New York City, all over, right? You look at a lot of these cities, they all kind of follow each other in terms of landlord-tenant law, in terms of all the protests,
yes, Regina,
police reform. A lot of these cities all follow the same, right? And so as this begins to happen, we have to ask ourselves, is this going to come to a city near us, even if you don't live in Chicago. Because this, to me,
I know that she no name, boo.
Real insanity. This is absolutely crazy. Take a look at this. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people.
This is for educational purposes.
And real estate. State law will
for the copyright. I don't know the rest of it, but don't get me.
Days. When a new Illinois law takes effect next year, it will do away with the cash bail system in the state, meaning suspects charged with felonies including second-degree murder, aggravated battery, and arson will be released without bail. The counter-signal report.
So did y'all hear that? They will be released without bail. Even a murderer will be released without cash bail. Who came up with this? Okay, this Fair Use Act. Thank you. Thank you, Just Blaze.
The Safety, Accountability, Fairness, Equity Today Act, also called the Safety Act, will end cash bail. It includes 12 non-detainable offenses. Listen to what these offenses are, because it is absolutely crazy. Second-degree murder, aggravated battery, arson without bail, as well as drug-induced homicide, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, intimidation, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, threatening a public official, all of which are non-detainable offenses. Think about what's happening in the economy right now in the world. A lot of people's financial position has never been weaker with record high inflation. You have everything is just going through the roof. Everything is extremely expensive, and now we're starting to see these job layoffs. The big question is, if all of this crime becomes no longer a detainable action, then why wouldn't people commit these crimes to survive, right? A lot of people are getting pushed and pushed and pushed financially. If you ever watched the Discovery Channel,
So Burnley, you said there's no sense of locking them up. So what are we going to do with them? I mean, I just feel so uncomfortable that this is happening especially in Chicago, Illinois, where I don't know exactly in Illinois, but Chicago, period, where the crime rate is so high. It's leaving the citizens and the people so vulnerable. I don't know. Let me go on.
You see animals in the wild, they do whatever they need to do to survive. Why wouldn't it be any different in a city like Chicago? When the law takes effect, January 1st, 2023, criminals charged with the crimes mentioned above will be released without bail.
Wow.
The bail system will be replaced by a bail system that considers the offense severity, the risk of not appearing in court, and the potential threat to the community if a person is released. With significant legislation, Governor J.B. Pritzker remarked the measure marks a substantial step towards dismantling systemic racism that plagues our communities, our state, and our nation, and brings us closer to true safety, true fairness, and true justice. Supporters of the measure say it's a step in the making the justice system equal and fair, especially for minority communities. Now, I don't agree with any of that. That's just my opinion. I personally think that it wouldn't matter if I was a minority and lived in a minority community. If I was a grandmother and I had young children and kidnapping was now legal and people could not be detained for it, I would want to be in that community. I wouldn't want to.
That is so true. This is all because of the major shortage in the law sector, law enforcement. It's also, there is a major shortage across the board in all public sector, law, education, health. It is. This global pandemic that hit us, the repercussion of it, we are seeing it trickling down. A lot of people have lost jobs, and a lot of people have left their jobs. So, and babies are still being born. It's scary. It's like, this is what we're going to end up with. First they lock us in the house. Now they're telling us if we go outside, it might not be safe. Hey, Brooke.
Either, right? I'm sure a lot of people are looking at all these other crimes saying, you know what, worked my whole life. I have a family here. I want to keep them safe. And then these types of policies are going to make it very, very challenging for that safety to actually be enforced, right? This is going to be very interesting to watch how this whole thing plays out.
Yeah, sure
House
is.
Chair of Illinois Legislation, Black Caucus Rep. Cam Buckner, Democrat Chicago, told Capitol Hill News that the Safety Act was the first stab at addressing public safety issues and police distrust in our minority communities. It's the first stab. The 800-page
ODS
also addresses detainee rights, police certification standards, use of force, body cameras. It's also the ending of the cash bail system that's getting the most attention. Supporters of the law say that the cash bail system is not fair for poor defendants, but a rising chorus of law
I get
enforcement
that
officials
part
and
with the
prosecutors
cash
across the
bail.
Prairie State are
It's hard to
sounding the
bail
alarm.
out for African American
Will State's
people.
attorney James Glasgow said the YouTube video will be the end of days. Once the law kicked in, he says the hands of police, prosecutors, and judges will be tied. Glasgow said he won't be able to hold people longer for 3 months if they demand trial. On the 90th day, they get out no matter what the crime they committed. Think about that.
Wow.
This is a state attorney saying this.
You know, that is so crazy because I heard in New York and Rikers Island that people are still in jail and been in there for years and have not been to trial yet. And also they don't have they don't have the funds to bail out. So it's like a catch-22 when it comes to the African American community. And we know the mass incarceration, the pipeline to prison from school. We know what's going on. We've seen it since the 80s, the 90s, and 2000. And we go even further back than that. So I understand about the no bail thing because it's so hard but yeah. Thanks, Glamour, for bringing this to us. I hadn't heard about this. Is there a link for this? Yeah, I'm about to send it to you. I'll send it to you I'll send it in the chat. And you can just Google some more. And once you get this link, all the other links for it will pop up. Give me 1 second. Yes, I'm glad. Well, Deanna spoke on it, and I start looking at it. So this is the link what I'm watching right now. But after this, let me go back to the middle. Let me see where I'm at.
First step in addressing public safety issues and police distrust in our minority communities. It's the first step. The 800-page law also addresses detainee rights, police certification standards, use of force, body cameras. It's also the ending of the cash bail system that's getting the most attention. Supporters of the law say that the cash bail system is not fair for poor defendants, but a rising chorus of law enforcement officials and prosecutors across the Prairie State are sounding the alarm. Will State's attorney James Glasgow said the YouTube video will be the end of days. Once the law kicked in, he says the hands of police, prosecutors, and judges will be tied. Glasgow said he won't be able to hold people longer for 3 months if they demand trial. On the 90th day, they get out no matter what the crime they committed. Think about that. This is a state attorney saying this. No matter the crime, think of the most heinous, craziest situation. Think of all the things that have happened last decade, the craziest things. They're saying on the 90th day, they get out no matter what they did. No matter what they did, the state attorney said. He called on voters to demand anyone running for election in November to repeal the measure. The bill would destroy the city and the state of Illinois. I don't even understand how the people who supported it can not realize that. Brown County State Attorney Mike Hill, Sheriff Justin Oliver, and Mount Sterling Police Chief Brandon Norris said in an 1,800-word statement that releasing so many suspects in this matter will have disastrous consequences for the entire state of Illinois. Those who support the new law say that the current system imposes different justice systems on defendants who can afford their bond compared to those who cannot. While we agree that a person's freedom should not depend on their bank account, completely eliminating the current system was never the answer. Abolishing cash bail means that every person that has been held in jail awaiting trial will have their bonds. You think about this. Everybody in jail, everyone in jail will be able to get out.
Wow.
And community safety will be put at risk.
Wow. It's a two-edged sword with that. So no matter what the offense is, if you have not been to trial and you've been sitting there for 90 days or more, you can be released back into society. Check out the book, Llll Show No Grandma's Feet. Thank you. I'm like, can you change your picture with duffel bag of DICK? Can you do that for me? Or I'm just going to have to block you off the chat. I don't want that on my channel, sweetie. Or sir. Thank you. Duffel bags full of DICKs. Can you please remove that avatar picture of yours? All is welcome, but I don't want that on my page. Thank you.
The 3 Brown County officials noted the new law is full of contradictions, ambiguities, and very poorly drafted. Lawyers across the state are all scratching their heads, wondering how the new system is going to work and keep people safe. Additionally, beginning January 1st, 2023, judge will no longer be allowed to consider the person's threat to the community. Serial domestic abusers, sex offenders, residential burglars will be set free without judges being allowed to consider public safety generally unless the prosecutions can prove by clear and convincing evidence that the accused possesses a real and present threat to the safety of persons and no condition can mitigate the threat. The three officials concluded the statement by saying that they didn't want to incite fear, but to educate the public on the reality coming January 1st. When someone commits a crime in Illinois, that person will not be held in jail absent of extreme circumstances. An Illinois Supreme Court Commission said that studied the state's pretrial system for 2 years released the report in 2020, noting simply eliminating cash bail on the onset without first implementing meaningful reforms and dedicating adequate resources to allow evidence-based risk assessment and supervision would be premature. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think that people in Chicago, in Illinois, are going to be in for a big surprise coming January 1st, 2023? This is only 3 months. I mean, we're basically mid-September. So about 3 months, we're going to start to see all.
Yes, I think on January 1st, 2023, Chicago is going to be in a rude awakening. Didn't that how the purge start off on New Year's, y'all? Oh, they think they slick. First, they tried to do us with the pandemic. That movie was contagious. Now the purge. They're really trying to do this as a test. This is absolutely, it's sounding like the end of days. People are acting out more than usual. No patience, quick to anger, and new gun laws, new voting laws, new disease. No, yes, Regina. They're giving the people the go.
This start to really happen. And when this does in fact happen, what's going to happen to property values? I would not want to own property there if I was going to have my family there. There's no way. I would not want to travel there. I would assume that tourism revenue will shrink. We're going to see more companies leaving Chicago. Tax revenue for the city is going to shrink. And then the net result of that is going to be less police. I mean, if you're a police officer, would you want to, what's the point of even being a police officer there if you're not allowed to stop crime, right? You would more likely want to be there. I think that we could see something very, very big here. I think something very huge. And unfortunately, it would not surprise me to see it go to LA next, then New York, then Chicago, or to Atlanta, or to Boston, or to Atlanta.
All the big metropolitan cities
throughout the country. It would not surprise me for us to start seeing this trickle over, just like we saw with defund the police. This could happen. What do you think? Very curious as to your thoughts on this. Drop your comments below. Subscribe here and subscribe also to my second channel. It's an interactive call-in podcast. And LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok up in the banner. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.
And the thing about this, they've been talking about this justice reform since last year. Where we were all like somewhat in isolation, somewhat still in the midst of trying to find our way out of the pandemic. And that's why it's so important to vote and know that who's on your local vote and who's in your local city, your local state. And sometimes I feel, is it good? I mean, it's, yeah. So, yes. So 2023, the Illinois is sounding like the purge. That is crazy. What's up, Drill TV Live? I haven't seen her. She usually, pink pops up and pops back in. I want to hear what they got to say.
Law will go into effect in Illinois called the Safety Act. Part of it eliminates cash bail for most offenses. Today, the Winnebago County State's attorney says around 400 inmates at the county jail will be released. Under the new law, people arrested for many criminal cases, including battery, robbery, and vehicular homicide, cannot be detained no matter the severity of the crime. Unless there is evidence, they're a flight risk, and a judge can only detain someone for murder and armed robbery if there is a real and present threat to the safety of the community. Jay Hanley and other states' attorneys around Illinois are asking to tweak the law and allow judges to use their discretion in all cases. The Safety Act passed in 2021, and many Republicans have been trying to make changes to it, including Darren Bailey. Bailey continues to promise a repeal of the Safety Act if he's elected governor. It's a move that would be unlikely even if he won, since it would require the House and Senate to flip, and Democrats hold supermajorities in both chambers. The bill's sponsors are saying the conversation around the Safety Act is not happening in good faith.
I think if we're going to have conversations about public safety, then we should actually engage on the history of people like Darren Bailey, who've done a really bad job around public safety.
We will repeal the Safety Act, and we will reinstate cash bail everywhere, all across the state. We will repeal limits on pretrial detention for violent criminals.
The bill was supported by the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus. It said this makes the justice system more fair for minorities. You can read more about the Safety Act on our website, mystateline.com.
That's dangerous. That is crazy. Pray for Illinois, Chicago, and hopefully it doesn't trickle down to our communities. And like Marcus G said, and they'll all be coming back to the neighborhoods. Well, good job. Good job. When I first heard it, am I dropping my, I don't know, you Tony Sellers? So I never seen you in my chat. What do you get to say? What you got to say in the chat? So I never seen you in my chat. Yeah, that is crazy. I'm glad I was able to bring this to y'all attention because a lot of people didn't hear about it. A lot of people have not heard about it. Now that we know about it, and like they said, what if it does start trickling down to New York, Atlanta, LA, the big metropolitan cities, even, oh my God. Oh Lord. Yeah, this is, I'm like, whoo. Yeah, that's crazy. That's really crazy. No bail. I am, boo. That's why I'm not dropping the link. I said, Tony, if you have something it could have been a good thing and the end of New Age slavery, but they will most definitely use it to make us. Yes. It's bigger than. And you heard what they said. If you feel like your property, if somebody's like squatting in your house, you have to use at your discretion what to do to remove them because the police or law enforcement is not going to help you. So that's when we have to be licensed to carry, LC. Thank you, Marcus. I'm just like baffled with the 400 prisoners might be released 2023 in Chicago, no matter what their offense was. That's scary. So that means that would give citizens, wow. Yeah, it's going to be the purge. I see nothing nice coming out this. I just pray that there will be, they said it's passed. It's insane, huh? It's very crazy. And when Deanna first said, I thought she was joking. I'm thinking, no, this can't be true. When Deanna was reporting on her channel, and I looked and I seen it on IG, and this upset, and this would happen this was last week. Remember, the school to prison pipeline is real. Yes, Nick, yes, Bundy Marco. The prison to pipeline. That was the start of it. The school to prison pipeline. And we know how big the prison system has gotten, how massive, how they just, count on all our African American for the least offenses, like for selling marijuana. But when the opiate epidemic hits the neighborhoods of the good suburbs, of the good white collar, the rich and the famous people, then they want to just say no and start giving them, the other people, a pass. While we have so many African American that are in jail because either they were suffering from drug addiction or this was only ways of them surviving on the street. You came to beef, sis? They almost got so you know. Yes. So this has opened the floodgates to any criminal activity under the sun. Just think about it. It said kidnapping. You know what goes with kidnapping? SEX trafficking. They're leaving our kids so vulnerable. It's not the opiates no more. It's the fentanyl. Well, the fentanyl epidemic that hit their community. And all those people got treatment. But our people got locked up with no rehab. No hope, nothing, just locked up and are still fighting cases. So now that this great law that, dude, I'm not fighting for Glam. I'm beefing. We beefing. Yeah, because I'm a Cardi fan. She a Nicki fan. Let me throw my shoe in the chat, girl, because you ain't about to come up in my house and disrespect my house, sis. So y'all keep your eyes on the streets. Y'all follow this story because if they let this go, they're gonna try it in our areas, in our neighborhoods where we live, in our communities. Because God knows I don't want some of the people that got pulled over. I want to tell them my community back on the streets. No, I don't. Marcus, I've seen a lot, but also the opposite. Get them, boo. I wouldn't want to see a child predator back on the street, a sex trafficker back on the street. No. The other parts that are concerning is that the property value will plummet in 2023, right off the pandemic. All kinds of people was calling it. Yes, that too, Regina. Good. So think about that. We're already in a state of distress. The country, the pandemic hit. Everybody was living. Everybody was flourishing at the beginning, but it's always what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. Now you're seeing the high crime rate. You're seeing people going into stores doing snatch and grabs. I am actually seeing people, they call it bipping where I'm at, breaking in people's cars, snatching stuff out people's cars. People are getting m'd. The crime rate has risen since this pandemic, and the criminals are even bolder. I'm mostly concerned about the child predators, and we know who that is most. Yes, bum mark. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, them people. I'm concerned about them. That's my biggest concern. That they will let somebody who had an offense on a child out on the street to reoffend and then can get out with no bail. That's insanity. Because they're going to repeat and repeat and repeat offend. So who's going to be left in the jails? The people who's trying to protect themselves? Because you done broke up in my house and you thought it was your house? Or you ran up in the store and I had to pop your ass? Who's going to be safe? Or is it going to be survivor of the fittest? And we know Chicago is a war zone. We know that they're already in poverty. You know they've been struggling with this for years. This is nothing new about Chicago. They have dirty cops. They've been ran by organizations and crimes and gangsters. Chicago has a bad reputation already. So y'all let this, y'all pick, y'all could have went to Boise, Idaho and tried this out. Y'all could have went anywhere else but Chicago. They already have penal protection laws ready to go. And yes, it is. And they've been trying to push that agenda. They have been trying to push that agenda way before this. I know that for a fact, that it was okay. And it's not okay. Facts, Regina. This is a prelude to gentrification. Trust me, the snatch and grab will not happen after yes. Marcus. It's bigger than what we think it is. And we're so busy fighting each other down here on YouTube and in a real outside world. We are fucking screwed if we don't come together as a people and get educated or even get yourselves on the ballots. I don't know, but it has to be a point that we need to wake the fuck up. Period. All this shit that y'all doing on here on YouTube, it should be the last thing you should be doing against your brother and sister when each of us got a target on our backs. Every time we walk out our doors, we have a target on our backs because of the skin that we live in. Period. Period. Educate yourselves. I mean, even if you have to educate yourself in paper, in books, even in arson, if you got to go to the gun range, it's time to get us licensed up, be able to defend ourselves, because this shit is not going to get any better at all. Like Regina said, this is the end of times. People are getting bolder. The laws are getting bolder. They are trying to say what is wrong is right. They're already trying to come in and creep in with the women's my body, my right. These are people who's been running this country for, 4 years and 7 scores ago. They have their grandparents' blood in them. It runs through their brain, their grain, and they don't give a fuck about us, period, at all. And they're going to find any kind of way to annihilate us. They don't want us here. They just want what we have. If they can skin us and take our bodies, they would. And they're finding any way to exterminate us. And I think this is a catch-22 right here. Darn, they just love to keep us in fear, don't they? We can't catch a break. We still in dealing with C-19, monkeypox. Hold on. Your moral integrity. And yes, they don't like us. Even when that 19 came out, they were feeding all of us false information. But it seemed like it turned around, and it always turned around. Every time they come out with something, every sickness, disease, or virus, they try to put upon us, turn around, and wipe them out. We got to know one thing, that the God that I serve above, is vengeance. And he said, do not touch my anointed and leave my prophets alone. I believe that the protection of God has been over the black people. I know we went through a lot of stuff. I know we have been through so much. But we are strong, resilient people. But we just have to stop fighting amongst one another. We have to. We have to just stop and put it down and say, not on our watch. That's scary. That right there, to them put an oomph in my oomph. And I'm going to continue to follow up on this. And I'm going to follow up. When 12 o'clock midnight hit and the next day on January the 23rd, I will be watching and waiting to see, even the days after that, how this is going to play out. This is scary. Because if it works in Chicago, or they think it works in Chicago, they're going to try to push it, that agenda, on all our communities, our states. And they said they don't care who they let out. Who they let out. Yeah, that's a purge. If I ain't got nothing, I got farmland, seeds, and guns. They can try to, girl, I'm about to move to the mountains. I'm about to move. I keep telling my kids, I'm going to be a gypsy in a minute. I'm going to be like, what was that called? George Clinton. California, I'm going to be like them. I would be like them, or like in Independence Day when all those people had them campers who they thought them people was crazy. But you noticed, and then you notice that is so crazy. It's crazy how things are playing out like they played out in a movie. Not the same narrative of the movie, but the same things that's going on with the world. It is hi, my boo-boo. It is a whole community of nomads. They are called digital nomads. Or nomads. They once were gypsies, but they have a whole community. I mean, a lot of them that has left corporate offices, left their lawyer jobs, left all that, got them a vehicle and start living off the land. That's my goal. I'm gonna be like them. I'm gonna be just like them. So y'all like Blaze said, we got to start getting our, and Snack been telling me this, get your seeds. Get your seeds. We have to be prepared. We have to. We see stuff flying off the shelves. We see how the shortage of food is popping up. We see that. It was not even before the pandemic. It's still going on. We seeing that cattle was dying. We see the food ain't right. Some of that food spoil fast. Some of that food is spoiling fast, and on the shelf life is not fast. We got to prepare ourselves. I don't know how I'm gonna prepare. I don't know what contribution I'm gonna put in, but I have to prepare. Start now. Wait, I'm starting now. My decorations to start getting me some seeds. I'm starting to go buy me a Jackery solar system. If y'all know what that is, I will drop it in the chat. Let me pull it up. It's a Jackery portable power station. And this thing is a beast. Yep, I'm about to get my solar because, once they start attacking, that's when they start attacking the power. Yeah, y'all think y'all slick. Here we go. And it's expensive, but it's worth it. And you can get it on Amazon. Solar. This is what I was going to put in my vehicle when I buy my vehicle next year for me to live in. I am going off the grid. Yes, I am. I will be a nomad. Child, everybody got guns. It's about to turn into Wild Wild West. It's about to. Oh, yes, it is. Hey, newbie. Yes, prepare. Yeah, the Jackery, y'all. It's a solar system. It comes with a portable battery, but you also get the solar king with it. And I'm about to get me one. I sure am. I want the middle size one. It's like the one I want is like 1,000, but it's worth it. You can plug because I'm just preparing because they talk. Regina, I know everyone else has them. Mines are just to protect my land. Blood, sweat, and tears went into this farm, especially a city chick who's scared of bugs. I ain't going to fight without it. That part, girl. That part. Girl, I will get I put the solar system. Every weapon, I don't care. A machete, a gun, anything I want to be locked and loaded. Okay? Bear spray, pepper spray. I will make a booby chat, give me a bear trap. I will, Because if they talking like that, that means that you have to surround and protect your house. Because they're letting these weird sickos out. Well, you guys, I'm glad y'all came to my live. I'm glad I was able to get this story out for you. I'm glad that y'all was very interested in it, and y'all keep following up. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna follow up. I'm on watch now. That night watch service like they do in church. Well, I'm on Illinois watch. I'm gonna see how this is gonna play out on January 1st, 2023, and after that, I want to see what's gonna happen for that whole year. This is the first 6 months of them trying this. And don't let them put any fear, false evidence appear real, or doubt in us. We are strong, resilient survivors. We got this. Just remember to be more kinder to one another and protect your energy, your space, and your place. With that being said, y'all, love and light, and have a good day. Thank you, Regina. Talk to you guys later.